Welcome back to Armchair Author Chats. Today I have the lovely Margaret Pinard here to talk about amazing writer things. She's amazing. Let's pull her in right now. Hello, Margaret!
Hello, good morning. Good morning, West Coast and everyone else in the world.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's been an early morning and gotten lots of stuff done. And so there's books everywhere. There's like costume change as well. So
I love it. Well, you look
normal
beautiful.
Sunday.
Thank you for the costume change.
Thank you.
If that was for us, maybe not. Maybe. So let's start with one of my favorite questions. I have a couple, as you may already know.
Okay.
Can you share the moment that you first felt that spark to write any one of your titles or maybe even your work in progress right now?
Sure. So the spark. So I'm a historical fiction writer, and that means that when I read about history, which is sometimes boring and dry, my brain just sort of makes a connection like, oh, what would that have been like, right? So when I first got pulled into the historical fiction for my series Remnants, it was because there was boring, dry economic change. And then I thought, but what would that feel like for a family? And so that series is about, people getting kicked off their land, the Highland clearances, urbanization, all these social changes, because I think that is fascinating to learn from and really makes me interested long enough to stick with the book and get it out, because sometimes that's hard.
And that's a tough genre, historical fiction. I mean, we're all used to the Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, actual classics, yeah. Not in that
right. We're like used to those. But what you've done here is just really beautiful. I mean, you really nailed down your niche on creating these worlds based off historical and then now fiction. So
Thank you.
How do you connect those dots?
Well, if I had wanted to be a time traveler, this would have been my second place goal. I can transport people to other times and places through the fiction. So that means the research about what people ate and what they wore and what their day was like, which is fun for me to do. But also, people who are not different from you or me. So what were their struggles? What were their joys? And how do they conquer whatever the conflict is in the novel? So
that's wonderful.
So for the people living on this island in Scotland, which of course I had to go visit to check it out.
Called research.
Yeah, exactly. What made that place so amazing that they wanted to stay there? And not only is it beautiful, their family's there, they've got, friends and everything.
The close-knit ties and all the things. Oh my goodness, how amazing. So, can you give us a peek behind the curtain and give us a little bit about your writing routine? Now, you did say you have tons of books all over the floor right now.
Yes, yeah. So, I just tried to do a tag, and I've got all these great books so sort of littered around. That's sort of what happens after I finish a video. Writing routine. So my sort of secret ingredient in keeping myself writing and on task is task switching. So I don't know if you're familiar with this.
No.
It's sort of a productivity hack. I don't think it's specific to writers, but when you can focus for only so long, I go about an hour and a quarter with any one thing, and then my mind starts to go, okay, we're bored. And so I need to switch. And so I'll transition. I'll either read for 20 minutes or I'll cook something and food prep or go outside for an hour and get my exercise in. So I switch into something else and my brain can shift gears. And then when I come back, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do another thing of that, social media or writing or editing or whatever the task is. But I just know I can't do it for hours and hours. It's just not me. So
yeah, that's a great hack. I know I will try to sit for hours and hours, and it's not healthy. It's not.
No, that as well, right? Your back and your neck and
the exhaustion. You're like, why am I tired? I'm just sitting in a room.
Yeah, it's, no.
But the brain uses so much energy too. So that's a great hack. Get outside, people. Touch some grass. Go do something
Yes.
outdoors.
Exactly. Take care of yourself. And if you're someone like me who has lots of interests, like you want to rotate between them all, otherwise you won't get to do them. So the reading, the writing, the running, the dancing, the, bookshop
All
browsing is on the list. So yeah.
The fall bucket list.
Yeah. I mean, that's more of a graphic. I often don't get to do those things, but there's farmers markets. So farmers market's always on there.
See, that would go on that list.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you have any quirky habits while writing?
I don't know if you would call it quirky. What did I brought something over for that prompt and now I can't remember, but I would say I shift places. So to help with the task switching, I have this place where it's like screen recording, which I do for some things. I've got an armchair with a footrest where sometimes the cat will join me, and like that's for reading, or sometimes the laptop on the pillow. And then I've got a table set up, which is when I need like a big piece of paper to like draw madly on, like a little chaotic monkey. So like I have different stations. Yeah, it's kind of like the mood suits the vibe, and so I'll switch up the place I'm sitting.
So in addition to task switching, you'll like reorient your space. So you're looking at something else or in a different environment.
Mm-hmm. It really changes it up. Yeah.
I'm going to try these. Are you guys taking notes? Like, these are good. I've not thought of any of these. So your characters feel so real. Do you secretly borrow traits from people you know?
I'm sure. I don't have the shirt where it says, "Be careful what you say. You'll be in my next novel." But
that's a great shirt.
I do think our life experiences are what clutter our brains, right? So if something is a human behavior and it's not, alien science fiction or fantasy, it's in there because of something you've witnessed or heard about or read about in a story. So sometimes it's secondhand, but sometimes it's firsthand, but you don't necessarily connect it to the actual occurrence because my brain organizes things like anonymously in a library. So maybe it has a call number, but it's not attached to a person. I don't think I would on purpose do that.
It's in a file at the bottom, somewhere in the back, maybe a cobweb.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a call, there's a card catalog, and it's age old. Yeah. Yeah, because actually a funny thing that happened with my work in progress, I had a character and I took the last name Tate because it's linked to a rich family that had sugar plantations, and that worked. And then I was like, how about Andrew? Andrew's like a Victorian name, that'll work. And then I was like, wait, that sounds familiar.
Oh,
that's a real life person. You don't want to use him. And I was like, oh, you're right, I don't.
Well, it'd be a searchable name. That's probably for certain.
Yeah, but not who I want to attract.
We don't really want to that's probably a little too close to reality.
Right. The dude bros will not like my book. That's for sure.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I think your audience is a little different.
Yeah. But yeah, so it just came into my mind and I was like, oh, no. Yeah.
That is a great story. So would you like to dive in a little bit and give us a little snippet of your work in progress? That sounded so interesting so far.
Yeah, so we got people in Glasgow, Scotland. So I've moved from the islands to a big city, and we're a little bit later in 1830s. Oh. And this is a decade of like lots of social change. You've got the people able to vote who weren't able before. So the whole parliament is changed and you can get different reforms through. You've got abolition. So slave trade was outlawed, but like this is all the slaves were freed. So that was being put into motion. You've also got reforms on the press and like people in the media doing different things and fighting and marching and speeches. So it was a very volatile time. And I'm following one woman who has something happen with her bank account and is like really in trouble and then decides to learn how to fix it. And in the journey of learning how to fix it, maybe starts her own microfinance scheme. So
I love that.
Yeah, finding her agency and empowering. So that's what I'm hoping for by the end.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm reading it. I'm gonna read it.
Yes.
So can you share any funny or unusual stories that happened while you were writing or promoting one of your books?
Writing or promoting? Well, as some of my author tuber friends like to say, everything is writing, right? So when you're walking and you're ideating or whatever the word is, everything is part of the writing process. So in a similar way, everything is part of the promoting process. When I'm talking about my writing, a funny or quirky thing, um, I like what conversations I have in author interviews. So I'm doing kind of like what you're doing now. I am inviting people whose books I've read onto my channel to interview them about the book or like about a social topic. And when we get a really good discussion going about themes and characters and like writing process, I just get such a charge out of that. So I
That's
don't
all.
know that that's quirky, but that's like one of my favorite
It's
pieces
fun.
of like
And
promoting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are, I think I saw that on your channel, on your YouTube channel, / Margaret Pinard. And I believe it's every Friday evening.
It's not every Friday, but Fridays through fall. So probably like twice a month. And I've got several people lined up for Good Fight Fridays, where we're talking about social change in fiction and like what motivates us to include that and make it such an essential part of our work.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Make sure you guys go get the notification bell on her page so that you can not miss those.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So writing isn't always easy. How do you push through writer's block or tough days?
So I'm going to steal Kay's answer from last week, Kay Parquet. And she's like, I don't. Like when you've been through this several times, I think you realize that if you push through it, you're just going to hurt yourself. It's like an athlete in training, pushing through something and then doing themselves an injury. And then you're not going to be running for a while, you know?
Yeah.
So burnout is real and important and scary. So I would just agree with Kay that I will give myself goals and targets and bribes and all the things. But like if I am not feeling it and nothing's coming to my brain and then my body is just like feeling the resistance, I'm like, okay, I got to do something else now. Like I got to shift things to make it happen and just be kind to myself for sure.
So being kind to yourself is a great way to not push through. It's kind of what she was saying, Kate was saying, was just you kind of pull off of it. Just go, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like, what am I envisioning? Like if you have a ball pit and you're trying to drain all these like plastic balls and like they get stuck,
yes.
What you need to do is like shake the container because like they need to get out of the way so they can reformat and then they'll come down the drain kind of thing.
Oh, I love that visual. That is great.
That was a weird one, but
now I want to go find a fast food place with a ball pit, just saying. Don't want to eat the food. I just want to jump in the ball pit.
Yeah. There's actually an art gallery here in like a interactive art gallery that has a ball pit for adults. And I did that recently. It was fun.
Now I have another reason to visit you. There's already a couple. Now there's one more.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
So publishing a book is no small feat. What was your biggest aha moment during the publishing process?
I think it's the fact that you never arrive. I know that's not happy as a thought, but like for me at least, making peace with the fact that you're just going to iterate and keep improving and keep changing your goals for yourself, and that your goals need to be independent of outside approval. Like, yeah, you can work for higher sales or like better conversion or whatever in your marketing plan, but to me, just making peace with the fact that I'm never going to feel like, oh, I've checked off that box. I've got my degree. I've got like the holy writ of whatever. Like it's just for you. You need to define your own success. So
great answer. So if one of your books were to be adapted into a movie, who would you dream cast in a lead role? Pick a book, any book. It could even be your work in progress.
Yeah. So when I write, I do not envision people. I like to give a few details, but I really don't pin it to real life people. Sometimes I will hear real life people's accents when I'm channeling dialogue. So like James McAvoy, like that would be dreamy. I was just watching a video of him earlier. But yeah, I don't see people So like that isn't part of my process, but I do hear and use that to like refine my ear for dialogue. So that's kind of fun.
That is fun. So we all love a good story or a good learning book, like a nonfiction. What's one book, not your own, that you would recommend?
Oh, can I use a fiction book for this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so one that I think is, I mean, it's not for writers. It's a beautiful book about loving books. It's called No Two Persons by Erica Bauermeister. And she basically does a lot of interconnected short stories that are people who touch a certain fictional book in different ways. So you have the writer, you have the editor, you have the agent, you have someone who read it, you have someone who used it in an art installation, all along the way of this book's life. And it's just an incredible tribute to how powerful books can be in many different ways. And it's very uplifting. So if you're,
Wow.
discouraged or uninspired, I would say read No Two Persons. It's
No
so good.
I'm going to read that. That sounds really good. You are so good at explaining all the books.
I did prepare. I wanted to be ready.
Yeah, so balance is key. How do you juggle writing with your other responsibilities or interests?
So task switching is a big part of that. And it's just sort of like, I don't know if dropping into yourself is a descriptive enough phrase, but like checking in and saying, okay, does my body feel okay? Or do I need to get outside and touch some grass? Or has my editing piece been languishing for too long? And do I really feel like the guilt is kicking me to do that? Like just sort of checking in with your goals pretty regularly, probably like once a week, and making sure you're feeding every interest enough.
Perfect. Oh, that's good. And then you're not really on a time constraint situation where it's going to stress you out, whatever the time schematic is, right? Whatever. I got to get this done by fourth quarter, 2028. Oh, well, I got plenty of time. And no, I don't. You don't want to do that. Just when you feel it.
Yeah, sometimes deadlines are motivating for me, especially when it's for other people. Like you need to get the graphics to this person so that they can help promote or whatever.
Yeah.
But for myself, my own deadlines just like don't mean a thing. So it's really not helpful. I need to figure out a different way. Yeah.
Ditto. Totally relate. So let's dream big. What's next on your creative journey? Any new projects, ideas you got to explore yet?
Yes. So the work in progress. I'm going to reveal the title very soon because I'm finalized with it. I think. So
Yay!
I would say if you want to be there for all the reveals this fall in the next 3 months, you can do free following on Patreon for all those like first updates. I'm Margaret Pinard on Patreon. So that's where I'll be dropping all those details. But like I said, my work in progress is coming out this fall. It's my first novel since the pandemic, which feels like a big freaking deal.
Yep.
Because it's been quite an emotional journey to be a writer during the pandemic.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, so if people are interested in historical fiction, social change, big emotional, like fist in your face, like good stuff, that's what I would recommend follow to hear when it drops. Yeah.
Nice. So the last question, which is literally one of my favorites, or probably the favorite out of my favorites. What is your favorite writing snack or drink?
Okay. So I do have a quirky answer for this, and I brought it over here. So I made some more this morning, which I don't know if you could see. Roasted chickpeas, like spiced olive oil, and it's like protein, and it's not gonna totally sugar crash, but like it's a good contribution for a snack. But also, I'm a big tea drinker, and right now I have the chai, but the cool tea is this. It's from the Secret Garden in San Luis Obispo, which is my hometown.
Ooh.
It's called Baller Status Only, which I love. I just love
I love the name. The name alone wins.
Give you an extra boost of confidence. And it's like an herbal tea with peppermint, cinnamon, ginger, sarsaparilla, etc. But like it's lovely and like again, extra boost of luck or confidence for when you need it.
I love that. Well, goodness gracious. Thank you, Margaret, for being here. You are amazing. I love your quirky snacks.
Thank you. Like just random assortment today.
Super random, and I love it. And I'm probably going to order some baller tea because that's
Baller
just awesome.
status. Yeah, they're great. Secret Garden, they're great. Thank you, Rita, for having me. This is
You're
so
very
fun.
welcome. Thank you, Margaret, for being here. If you guys want to know more, all the show links, it'll be in the show links below and on the podcast. So make sure you check all that out so you can go find Margaret on there. Thank you, my friend. I will see you soon. Oh, we got to find out where I went. There we go. And that brings us to the end of Armchair Author Chats. I appreciate you being here with us today, and we will see you in the next episode. For more information, links will be in the description below and also in the show notes on the podcast. If you like this interview, please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share the video.